Game over.
Good morning, RMS!
Hi, I'm your host, Reese Chadwick, and today is Friday, February 19th.
And I'm Lexi Wertzler.
NJHS members, if you haven't picked up a FMSC permission slip, do it by the end of today.
How many box tops have you brought in for the contest so far?
RMS has earned over $1,000 each of the last 4 years from the Box Tops for the Education program.
Let's exceed our goal of $1,500 this year.
Yearbooks are on sale now. This is the last week to guaranteed copy of this year's yearbook. Yearbooks will be sold until March 11th, but limited supply.
So get to jostens.com to order your yearbook today.
Espen Brown is back with us for another movie review, Kung Fu Panda 3.
Hello, my name is Espen Brown, and I'm your host for the Kung Fu Panda 3 movie review. The voice actor for the panda, Po, is my favorite actor, Jack Black. This movie is about a panda named Po, and he is a dragon warrior. Po longs to find his real family, and then someone is about to almost beat his dumpling eating record. Po finds out that the person is his father. Throughout the movie, these warriors, called Gem Warriors, help their master Kai, who is trying to take the mana to rule China. I rate this movie 5 out of 5 donays. I really love the animation for this movie. I think it's great, and you should watch it. That's all for this time. Until next time, bye!
In advisory, we will be continuing our all-school read Ice Jogs, Chapter 15. But first, we want to wish everyone with a February birthday happy birthday.
Bye!
The dogs seem happier. I feel their enthusiasm behind me as I plod along. I'm very careful not to work up a sweat and get damp, so I stop often. There has been little wind since the storm. The trees are still. It's so peaceful out here when it's quiet like this. I could almost forget we're lost and starving. With the sun out, I imagine how wonderful it will be in a few weeks. Dad always played a game every year waiting for spring. You can hear it breaking the back of winter, he'd say. When I was young, I took this literally and tried listening for some kind of spine-snapping noises. Once, we heard the creek ice let go with a loud crack that echoed across the valley, and I was convinced that was winter's back. The dogs pant behind me, and the snow makes little shushes as I shuffle in my snowshoes. Around us, the arched limbs of alder and birch take turns losing their snow loads with a soft whomp. They spring upward free of their burdens. So do all mushers run 6 dogs in a team? Chris asks behind me. No. That's just how many I brought along for this trip. I have 16. It all depends on what you're doing, how much weight you have in the sled, how far you're going, what the trail conditions are like. I keep moving in front of the team, but turn my head so Chris can hear me. The main thing is not to have too many and be overpowered. That's dangerous for everyone. I guess you don't need many dogs to pull you. I glance back with a mock offended expression. He doesn't know how true his words are. 2 years ago, I had too many dogs on a run. Of course, I had waited till Dad wasn't around, then hooked up a 10-dog team. That was a wild ride. I thought I was so cool running that long string of dogs all by myself. Fun, until we got to the road where I couldn't sink the snow hook. Instead of going straight across the road and onto the trail, Beetle, the little tramp, had veered into a ditch to get to the village dog that was walking loose near the trees. We crashed, or more to the point, I crashed, and watched my whole team take off down the road without me, dragging the broken sled. I had limped up the driveway of the nearest house, which turned out to be Noel Chambers' place, and he proceeded to tell the whole school what a complete noob I was, and worse, that I was a bad musher. And his dad had to take me on his snowmobile about a mile to the next homestead just in time to watch Beetle tie with the male dog and a fight erupt in the team. Mr. Chambers helped me break up the fight while I pretended not to notice the 2 dogs caught in a canine version of wanton lust, which was pretty hard since Beetle was squealing like a vixen. I usually run smaller teams now, since I don't need to repeat that kind of drama. The dogs are always looking at you, you know? Chris says, like they're connected to you. It's cool. My face flushes immediately, and I bite back a smile. It surprises me that he'd noticed something like that. The dogs are reading me for how they're supposed to react to something. It's important to stay calm so they don't freak out. They look at my face, but also my posture, how I'm holding myself, the tone of my voice, all of it. As I explain, I straighten my shoulders back a bit more and dart a glance to Chris. For the first time, I wonder if he's trying to read me as well. You think they're looking at me too? Yes, that's how they communicate. Must make you tired, Chris says, trying to stay calm for the dogs all the time. We don't speak for a few paces, as I keep the rhythm of my steps in the snow. Chris breaks the silence. You want me to take a turn up front? I glance around, surprised to realize I've been trudging along for quite a distance. We won't make this kind of time with Chris in the lead, I bet. Have you ever been on snow? The dog screams interrupt me. Yes, Bean, we're going. I turn to start moving again, just as I hear a different kind of scream. High-pitched and distinctly girly. It's Chris. Look out! Then I see it. A huge cow moose is coming around the corner of the trail directly at us. She stops at the noise of the dogs, swivels her ears, blows snot out her nose, and stares at us. She's standing in the middle of the trail, about 3 team lengths away. 1,500 pounds of unpredictable animal with razor-sharp hooves. Blood hammers down my arms, leaving my elbows feeling as if they aren't part of my body. All moisture leaves my mouth. My legs feel rooted to the trail, and for an awful second, all I see is black. She won't give up the trail. With her long, narrow legs, she'll sink in the new snow. Behind me, the dogs shove into my legs, and I snap out of my panic. Get, I scream. I wave my hands above my head to look bigger. Go on, get off the trail. My heart pounds. This can't be happening. The moose sways a little on the trail, as if indecisive. I yell louder and stomp my feet. She looks behind her. Seems to think about it. Then she puts her head down and charges toward us. I let out a scream, but she keeps steaming toward us like a train on a track. She's charging at a gallop, and it's as if I'm watching her in slow motion. Time has slowed down to a crawl. I see frost blowing from her nose like a steam engine. The trail shakes from her thundering hooves. She's so big. I can even smell her. Pungent. Horsey. Look out! I hear again behind me. I don't think. Just bend down and yank off a snowshoe. When I stand, she is less than 10 paces from us. Bearing down. The dogs have gone quiet. My pulse roars in my ears. I fling the snowshoe as hard as I can. It flies through the air like a frisbee. It hits her square in the face. The thwack sound is surprisingly loud in the cold air. She stops short. Her large brown eyes study us. Oh! I scream, waving my arms. And then she wheels around and charges back down the trail. My knees buckle and I fall in the snow. The dogs break into a frenzy of barking in their desire to chase. Blue leaps over me with eagerness. I reach up from where I'm sitting and grab the gig line, digging my feet into the trail. I notice I've been holding my breath, and I let it out in a whoosh. My heart hammers in my throat. I take off my other snowshoe with a shaking hand. Holy crap, Chris is losing it behind the sled. He runs toward me, leaving the sled unattended. The dogs explode forward, with me hanging on to the gig line. Suddenly, I'm yanked between the dogs, my arms stretched above my head, my hip dragging on the trail. Set the hook! The snow hook! I grip the gig line with damp gloves, dig into the snow with my knees to slow us, and feel Gazoo's feet tramping me as he runs. The dogs are powerhouses when they want to be. The strength of a dog team can pull cars out of ditches. They can haul loads of firewood or pelts down narrow, twisting trails. A dog team on a mission can be like a runaway plow truck. I glimpse Chris as he grabs for the sled and misses. Run! I yell as snow fills my mouth. I roll on the trail, feeling as if I'm speeding along in a dune buggy, only without the buggy. My internal organs are being rearranged by the pounding. My hands slide down the gig line. I'm losing my grip. I frantically try to pull myself up. With my outstretched arms covering my ears, the sound of my own rapid breathing is all I hear. When I lift my head to see where we're going, I get a face full of snow and my grip slips farther. If I lose the team, they'll keep running right toward that moose. They will not come back for us. Won't stop because I've fallen off. They're trained to run straight down a trail. I can't let go. The team pounds down the trail. I can hardly breathe with the snow clogging my nose, filling my mouth. My hands slip further. Don't let go. I'm dragging between endless feet clawing up the trail, digging into my body. My fingers are frozen into hooks. I can't grab. Can't see. How far have we come? Where is the moose? We must almost be on her by now. Don't let go. I dig my knees in to slow us, but it just makes my grip slip another few inches. The sled bounces behind me. My feet kick it. Don't let go. I have to do something. Panic floods to the surface as if I'm drowning in it. Drowning in white, frozen desperation. I can't hold on much longer. My guts must be spread out behind us. I can't feel anything below my neck. Slip. Bounce. Claw frantically. Faster than a gasp, the sled runs me over and I'm face down alone on the trail. I look up just in time to see the sled disappear around the next bend. Shakily, I sit up. I've lost my hat, and snow is packed solidly up my sleeves, down my neck, up my nose. I'm starving. Alone in the winter bush. Wet. And I've lost my dog team. Idiot. My throat threatens to close, and I realize with horror that I'm about to cry. Get a grip. I take deep breaths and try to think. Must get the team. I lurch to my feet and take stock of all my limbs. Everything is still there. Melting snow drips down my back. My sleeves have jammed up to my elbows, and my arms are red with freezer burn. My whole body feels as if I've gone through the rinse cycle. I'm probably black and blue underneath, but right now, I have to get my dogs. I begin to jog with jerky steps, following the tracks the dogs have made. The last time I lost the team, after our headlong charge through the ditch, the snow hook had knocked loose with the bouncing. It had embedded itself in the trail finally, too late to prevent Beetle from getting knocked up, but it had at least stopped the team. I can only hope that happens again. I think of the upright sled sliding happily along. If only the sled fell over, it could slow the dogs down. My heart races at the thought of the dogs facing that moose. Have they caught her? Please don't let them be trampled. I run, pump my legs as fast as I can manage. I don't care how much I sweat. I'm dead anyway if I don't find the team. The soft trail slows each of my footsteps, like running in a nightmare where you can't get anywhere. I finally make it around the corner, but the tracks keep going over the next ridge. Don't think. Just run. One foot, then the other. Keep moving. Must get dogs. Must get dogs. I chant this as I run, and it becomes the only thing I care about. Keep moving. Get the team. I crest the ridge and still no sign. I stop to suck in wheezy breaths. The adrenaline is keeping me moving, but my energy tank is almost at zero. Then I hear it. I hold my breath to listen, and my stomach feels as if I've just swallowed lead. Faint, horrific screaming. I bolt ahead and skirt around a white birch stand. Finally, I see them. The dogs are in a ball, with Bean tangled in the middle. The gag line is wrapped around his front leg. Drift and Whistler are locked in battle, pulling the gag line tightly, pinching Bean. The other dogs have jumped in, egged on by his screams of pain. It's all so horrible that I can hardly look. Stop! I scream as I reach them. Drift! Enough! I bring my face down right beside the flashing teeth and scream into their faces. It makes them pause long enough for me to break them apart and start untangling. The rest of the dogs seem to be coming out of a hypnotic trance. They blink at me and shoot dirty glances at each other. Dog fights always trigger their primal instincts. They take on a pack mentally and pick on whoever is losing. Thank goodness they hardly ever fight. They argue all the time, but what looks extreme to anyone who doesn't know them is just them sorting things out. They need to do that to avoid any serious fighting. I have no idea what happened here. Did Bean try to turn around to find me? Did they catch up with the moose and then the fight started? I can't tell from the chaos of tracks. Bean, are you okay? He sways on 3 legs, his left leg held off the ground. His head hangs down. My stomach squeezes as if it's been stabbed with an ice pick. I whip off my gloves and gingerly feel his leg. My hands tremble. I quickly find a nasty puncture wound on the top of his leg next to his elbow. This kind of injury is common in a dog fight. I clean it with snow and spread his fur to get a better look. That's when I find the gash deep in his shoulder, which is far more ominous. Slowly, I extend his leg forward to check his range of motion, watching his reaction. He pulls away. My mouth goes dry. Did the moose kick him? If he has internal damage to his ligaments, there isn't much I can do. I follow the muscle from his elbow to the shoulder and feel a tendon tremble against my finger. He needs a shoulder pack, which I do not have. Gazoo has recovered from the fight and pops his tug to get going again. Shh, it's okay, Gazoo. Settle down. If I keep my tone low, it calms the dogs. Uncle Leonard tells me the more you pretend at being something, the closer you are to making it real. So just make sure you're pretending the right things. It becomes a habit. Considering how often I act like I'm in control of everything in front of the dogs, I should be pretty close to it by now. When I unhook Bean and gather him in my arms, he doesn't struggle or whimper. His bravery makes me want to be a better musher. One that doesn't put her dogs in danger and has enough food to feed them. Adrenaline must still be coursing through me because I pick up the 50-pound dog, even though I feel about as strong as a wet noodle. I manage to carry him back to the sled. My legs wobble as I set him inside the sled bag. I'm panting as I arrange the gear to make him comfortable. Once I've clipped his neckline to the handlebar, I pull out the first aid kit. There's a small roll of gauze left, and I grab that with the scissors. I quickly snip away the fur around the wounds to see better and to keep out contaminants. Bean watches, but lies still until I probe his shoulder. Almost done, Bean. Using snow to wash the blood, I wish I had a larger kit with betadine. I wipe blood away from the torn flesh. He has severe bruising under his fur, and the swelling has already started. Gathering a handful of clean snow, I pack it over the front point of his shoulder joint, then wrap the roll of gauze around to make the makeshift ice pack in place. It's the last of the gauze, and it's just enough. I tape the end, then smooth the fur on Bean's muzzle. When I straighten, I wipe my hot face with the back of my mitt and take a deep breath before I look behind us. The trail is empty. I'm going to have to go back for him.